What's good? It's your boy 336 back with another segment of the 336 podcast. And today we talking about something pretty interesting, man. I never claim to have the answers, but I will get the answers via the people because that's what counts, right? The people. Today we're not talking about anything important, anything special. Just another dead black girl in Connecticut. Yeah. Just another dead black girl in Connecticut. Lauren Smith Fields, 23 years old, college student, turning 24 this month, was found dead in her apartment, and there was a 37-year-old unidentified white male there, and we don't know why. But don't worry, the police say he's a nice guy. He didn't do it. Don't worry about it. It's just another dead black girl in Connecticut. You know, I don't think we need to call the parents of Miss Smithfield. We don't need to call the next of kin, the family or anything and let them know that she's dead either. It's just another dead black girl in Connecticut. I don't also think that we should gather any evidence from this scene. I mean, why are we going to put ourselves through all of that trouble? It's just another dead black girl in Connecticut, right? You know, all of this stuff makes sense. Let that guy go free, man. He's not a suspect. You know, he's not a suspect at all. I don't have the answers, but make this make sense to me. Miss Smithfield decided to go on a dating app where she met this 37-year-old unidentified man, where they decided to have an evening of drinks, food, games, and movies. This all happened at Miss Smithfield's apartment in Connecticut, where through that night, the unidentified man says that she got a little sick in the middle of the night, but she came back in her normal self, still having drinks, eating food, laughing, talking, conversation. This very exotic date night that it was painted to be by the male. Before the evening was over with, Miss Smithfield had fallen asleep in her own apartment with this 37-year-old unidentified male who she's never met before and had only met off of a dating app about 3 days prior to this whole arrangement. She fell asleep with him there. And she was just that comfortable with this man, right? She had to be, because the police say that he's a nice guy. So she had to just be that comfortable with this man. And he then carried her upstairs to lay her in bed, where he then lied down beside her with or without consent. I don't know, but he's a nice guy. You know, he's a nice guy. So that has to stand for something. He woke up the next morning and allegedly Miss Smithfield had blood coming out of her nose and was not breathing. She was unresponsive. At that point, it was reported that he called the police. Over the phone, the paramedics did try to administer some type of help that he could perform these CPR-related acts. But however, she was pronounced dead that morning. It was about 6:30 in the morning where he stated he woke up and noticed all of this had happened. So yeah, just another dead black girl in Connecticut, right? And that's all for today. Well, actually, there is some more details to this that, I don't know, maybe it's just not just another dead black woman. The autopsy revealed that she had various drugs in her system, from fentanyl to hydrocodone, as well as alcohol in her system. Now, the unidentified did say that she walked outside briefly and came back in, and then that's when she wasn't feeling well with herself. By the way, the detectives that were originally on this case, they're no longer working this case. So that's something that we got to pay attention to as well. Maybe this isn't just another dead black girl. You know, he said that she fell asleep downstairs and he carried her upstairs, and then he lay beside her and woke up. And oh my gosh, this had happened. But after the initial investigators left out every valid piece of evidence that they could have, when the new detectives went back to investigate the scene, they did find a condom and it did have semen in it. And help me understand here, I don't think that women produce semen. And I also don't think that if she fell asleep downstairs and you carried her upstairs and she was asleep and you laid beside her, I don't think that she could have consented to any sexual arrangement. I don't think that that's possible if she's asleep, right? And you just lie beside her on the bed. I also don't think that this woman who just met this man 3 days prior is just that comfortable to giving this man consent to spend the night and to fall asleep in front of him while she's in her own home. This man who's about 15 years older than she is, who is in another race than she is, may or may not play a part. She did invite him over, allegedly. I'm just not sure that women in these times are just that comfortable with these type of things going on. However, there was an unidentified pill recovered at the scene. So yes, drugs were involved, but how? Why? What were these drugs used for? They still saying that this is an unidentified pill. We know what happens to younger girls who leave their drinks around older guys who are perverted, who have ill intentions, who do not have any consensual mindset. They already have their mind made up how that night will end. We do know what happens to those women, right? It's said that it was just a little drop of blood that made him call the police, but there were bloody sheets recovered. So exactly what can happen from the point of blood being recognized down your nose to there being sheets of blood recovered at the scene as evidence? Was this man's body even looked at? Was it even observed to see if there was any struggle? Was her body looked at to see if there was any struggle, any brute force used against her? He said he woke up and found her that way and called the police, but the police said they could tell that she was at least dead for an hour by the time they got there. So at what point do you waking up and notice someone's not breathing and then you calling the police? At what point do you have an hour of time in between that? I don't understand. I don't have the answer. So maybe, just maybe, I don't want to get ahead of myself because, you know, the family, they have a private autopsy going on. We'll get those reports back, which they try to say that this is just an accident, mixed drugs and alcohol. The family doesn't believe that Miss Smith-Fields was one to partake in illegal substance, and they feel foul play is involved and have also hired their own attorney, and they are suing the police department for how they handled. Again, the family was never notified that their daughter had been found dead that morning. It wasn't until the leasing office was able to contact them, or they contacted the leasing office, that they found out that their daughter had been found dead one morning. Foul play, cover up. This man still not identified. He still has no alias. No one knows who he is, yet he's still being protected by the police department, being looked at as a nice guy, not being looked at as a suspect. Wow, we're just saying this is an accident and it's just another dead black girl in Connecticut, right? That's what we're all supposed to believe, apparently. Maybe. It isn't just another dead girl in Connecticut. We have the alleged facts. We have this man's story, and then we have the evidence, which seem to suggest that something does not add up. I don't have the answers, but I do have information. And I hope as the people come together and the family comes together and we continue to shed light and attention on this issue, that we do get those answers, and we will get those answers, that maybe we can just find out a little bit more about why Miss Smith-Fields, who was in college, birthday this month, is no longer with us. My prayers and condolences are sent out to the family and friends of Miss Smith-Fields, and I urge any other young woman to be careful with these dating apps, with who you allow to come over to your homes in your private space, with who you allow to be seen with privately. Make sure that your intentions and their intentions are always good, and make sure that you're protecting yourself at all times. It's your boy 336 with another segment on the 336 podcast, which airs every Sunday and Wednesday. Please subscribe to the channel to get more. Y'all stay sucker free, man. Zip.